Ever find yourself in one of those escape rooms? You know, heart pounding, racing against the clock, and trying to solve puzzles.
Oh, yeah.
It's a total blast.
The best.
But what if I told you that escape rooms are, well, they're breaking free from their traditional mold?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Get ready to deep dive into this world of La Miranda Teatro,
Okay.
where escape rooms get supersized, educational, and they tackle real-world issues all head-on.
Wow. Okay. So we're talking like immersive experiences here.
Totally.
For like how many people are we talking?
Up to 90 people.
90 people.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So it's not just like you and a couple of buddies trapped in a room, huh?
No, not even close. And what really got me hooked is this like educational layer. They've kind of woven it into these experiences.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like sneaking in a healthy dose of learning without even realizing it, you know?
I like that. So it's like you're learning, but you don't even realize you're learning. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so often, like educational stuff can be like kind of a drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, do I really have to sit through this?
Yeah.
But if it's fun and engaging,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
That's exactly what they've tapped into. It's called experiential learning,
Okay.
where like you're not just reading about something, you're living it, right?
Well, yeah.
Imagine like grappling with the complexities of climate change,
Yeah. Well,
but not in a lecture hall,
Yeah.
right? You're in this high-stakes scenario,
okay.
and your decisions have real consequences.
Wow. So it's like really interactive.
Totally. Okay, so walk us through this. What kind of scenarios are we talking about here? One that jumped out at me was Linz.
Linz. Yeah. Okay. So picture this. You and your team, right? You're the last line of defense against the extinction of the Iberian lynx.
Whoa.
Yeah. You're racing against poachers, navigating, all this bureaucracy, and you've got like the weight of an entire species on your shoulders.
Talk about pressure.
Right. Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
But that's the point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you're dealing with real world issues like endangered species, but you're doing it within like the context of a game.
That's the brilliance of it. It's like, it's fun, but it's also like really important.
Exactly. And they don't shy away from these like complex themes either,
No, they don't.
Take Marina, for example.
Okay.
Imagine a world where like a supercomputer controls the oceans.
Okay.
Like it's regulating temperatures, currents, everything, right?
Right.
Now imagine that supercomputer gets hacked.
Oh, okay. Now that's
Yeah.
terrifyingly plausible.
See?
Yeah.
That's the scenario in Marina. Players are thrown into this race against time to like avert a global climate catastrophe.
Oh, wow.
It really underscores, how interconnected our planet systems are and how urgent climate change really is.
It sounds intense, but also like incredibly thought-provoking. It's like they've cracked the code on making learning like thrilling and impactful at the same time. And then there's Illa di Plastico, where the solution is releasing bacteria.
I know, right? It sounds a little strange.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the beauty of it. This escape room, like, it dives headfirst into the problem of plastic pollution.
Okay.
And it highlights a potential solution, which is bioremediation.
So players are like essentially learning about cutting-edge science while they're trying to like clean up a simulated island.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
That's amazing.
And it gets people thinking about solutions, right, to these real-world problems. And that's something that La Miranda Teatro does so well across all their themes.
And speaking of themes, they have a whole lineup like Salvar el Centro, where you're dealing with like a nuclear reactor meltdown.
Yeah, it's like a classic escape room trope, but they use it to like really delve into the complexities of nuclear energy.
Wow.
Like safety protocols, human error, the potential consequences.
Interesting. And then there's Despertar Z, a zombie apocalypse scenario. But it's not just about outrunning the undead, right?
No, not at all.
Right.
Players actually need to apply knowledge of viruses, disease transmission, scientific research to find a cure.
Oh, wow.
It's like this clever way to engage with like complex biological concepts, but in a really high-pressure, engaging environment.
So it's like educational, but it doesn't feel like a lecture.
Exactly.
That's so cool. It's amazing how they've managed to create all these diverse experiences, each with its own like unique educational hook. They even tackle literature.
Yes.
Tell me about La Letra Escarlatille.
Oh, La Letra Escarlatille. Okay, so this escape room, it highlights women writers from Spain's golden age.
Okay.
And, they're often overlooked in history. Players uncover their stories, their challenges, their triumphs, and it really sheds light on their contributions to literature.
It's like they've unearthed this hidden treasure trove of amazing women writers.
Yeah, right.
And they're bringing their stories to life in this like really unique, engaging way.
Exactly, yeah.
And let's not forget their escape room, inspired by Miguel de Cervantes' El Ladrón de Gigantes.
Oh, yes. El Ladrón de Gigantes.
Yes, the author of Don Quixote. It's incredible how they weave these like cultural and historical elements into such engaging experiences.
It's really cool. It speaks to their commitment to going beyond just, simple entertainment.
Yeah.
They're using these escape rooms as a platform to explore different facets of our world,
I love that.
from science and technology to, like you said, history and literature.
Yeah. It's really impressive. As we're talking about all these different themes, I can't help but think back to my own escape room experience. I went with a group of friends, and I was just amazed by how much we learned about like teamwork and communication, even in the midst of all the chaos.
Right. That's a perfect example of what makes this approach so effective. It's not just the information itself, but it's how you acquire it.
Yeah.
When you're actively engaged in a challenge, working with others towards a common goal, the learning process just becomes so much more powerful.
Absolutely. And La Miranda Teatro takes that concept to a whole new level with these massive 90-person experiences. It makes you wonder, like, what kind of impact is this having on participants? Have there been any studies or, even just anecdotal evidence about how these experiences actually translate into real-world change?
That's a great question. It's still a relatively new field, but early research suggests that these like immersive collaborative experiences can actually lead to some significant improvements.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in communication, problem solving, even empathy.
Empathy. That's interesting. How so?
Well, think about the Lentz escape room for a second. To succeed, participants have to like step into the shoes of conservationists, researchers, even the animals themselves, right?
Right.
And in doing so, they start to understand the complexities of the issue. They develop this deeper appreciation for how interconnected our world really is.
It's like that saying, like, you don't truly understand someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. But in this case, it's not just about like understanding people, it's about understanding the planet.
Exactly. And that's incredibly powerful by creating these immersive empathy-building experiences. I think La Miranda Teatro is really fostering, a sense of global citizenship.
Wow.
And it's encouraging people to think critically about the world around them.
It's like they've tapped into this incredible potential of escape rooms that like goes way beyond just entertainment.
Totally.
It makes you wonder, could this be the future of education?
Right.
Could we see like classrooms transformed into these dynamic collaborative spaces where students are learning by solving these real world problems?
It's a really compelling idea. Just imagine like history lessons where students have to work together to avert like a historical crisis, or science classes where they're tasked with designing solutions for climate change.
The possibilities are pretty much endless. And it's not even just limited to education. Think about the applications in corporate training, team building,
Yeah.
even social activism.
Absolutely.
It really gets you thinking about the potential to like revolutionize how we learn and work together.
Absolutely. What's so remarkable is how La Miranda Teatro has taken this form of entertainment, often seen as, just purely recreational, and injected it with this incredible sense of purpose.
They've literally turned escape rooms into a tool for social change, which I think is incredible.
Exactly. And they're proving that learning about, complex issues doesn't have to be dry or preachy. It can be exciting, it can be engaging, it can even be like a little bit addictive.
Addictive in a good way, hopefully.
In good way, yes, definitely.
It's like, when you get sucked into a really good mystery novel, but instead of just passively consuming the story, you're actively like shaping the outcome.
Yes. And you come away from the experience not just entertained, but with this newfound understanding of the world and your place in it.
This whole deep dive has been seriously eye-opening.
It's fascinating stuff.
It makes you wonder, like, what other innovative approaches to learning are out there, just like waiting to be discovered?
That's the exciting part. La Miranda Teatro has really, like, thrown down the gauntlet, challenging us to rethink what's possible.
So, as we wrap things up, it feels only fitting to ask,
Mm.
If you could design your own escape room experience, what real-world challenge would you tackle?
Now, that's a question worth pondering.
It certainly is. If you're as intrigued by La Miranda Teatro as we are, we encourage you to check them out online. Their work is not just about escaping a room, it's about escaping the confines of traditional thinking. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep learning.
Yeah, and they're sharing these stories in a way that almost anyone can get into.
Yeah, right.
Not just scholars and academics. And, it's not just La Letra es Carletier.
Yeah.
They've got another escape room inspired by Miguel de Cervantes.
Oh, right.
El Ladrón de Gigantes.
El Ladrón de Gigantes, yeah.
Yeah.
The author of Don Quixote. Man, it's really wild how they can weave these cultural and historical elements into these crazy, engaging experiences.
It is. And it really shows you just how committed they are to going beyond just having a fun time.
Yeah.
They're really using these escape rooms as a platform to explore all these different parts of our world,
Totally. And it makes you think, as we're talking about all these different themes and ideas, I keep going back to my own experiences with escape rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And I always come away from them just blown away by how much we learn about teamwork, communication skills.
Right.
Even when everything's totally chaotic.
Exactly. That's what's so awesome about this whole approach. It's not just about the information itself. It's about how you're taking it all in when you're in the thick of it, Working with your team towards this shared goal, the learning just hits different. It's way more powerful.
It really does. It's so true. And then you think about how La Miranda Teatro takes that whole concept and just supercharges it.
Oh, yeah.
With these giant 90-person experiences.
It's really something else.
It is. And it makes you wonder, what kind of impact does this have on the people who actually participate?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Have there been any studies, any anecdotal evidence even about how these experiences translate into, real world change?
It's tough to say for sure because it's still a pretty new field. But the early research, it suggests that these super immersive collaborative experiences, they can actually make a real difference.
Wow, really?
In stuff like communication, problem solving, and get this, even empathy.
Empathy. Okay, now that's fascinating. How does that work?
Okay, so think back to the Lentz escape room for a second. To win the game, the participants have to put themselves in the shoes of conservationists, peer researchers, even the animals themselves.
Wow.
And by doing that,
right,
they start to really grasp the complexities of the whole issue.
Right.
They come away with this way deeper appreciation for how everything's connected, how the world really works.
It's walk a mile in someone else's shoes.
Exactly.
But it's not just other people, it's the planet, it's everything.
You got it. And it's so powerful. By making these crazy immersive experiences, these empathy-building experiences, I really think La Miranda Teatro is nurturing this sense of global citizenship,
Wow, yeah.
It's encouraging people to actually think critically about the world around them.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about the true potential of these escape rooms. It goes way beyond just entertainment, you know?
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, could this be the future of education?
Right.
Imagine classrooms transformed into these vibrant collaborative spaces where students aren't just memorizing facts, they're learning by solving real problems,
Yeah, it's a really cool thought.
Yeah.
Imagine history coming alive, right? Students working together to, prevent the fall of Rome or something, or science classes where they're designing solutions to climate change.
The possibilities really are endless. And it's not even just education. Think about how this could revolutionize corporate training, team building.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even social activism.
Yeah.
Getting people engaged and thinking about solutions together.
Totally. I mean, think about it. This is learning that doesn't feel like a chore, It's exciting. It gets you fired up.
For sure. It's addictive, but in a good way.
Exactly. Addictive in the best way possible.
And it's not just about absorbing information passively. You're really in it. You're shaping the outcome.
You're part of the story.
Yeah.
And you come out the other side, not just entertained, but changed even.
I love that. This whole deep dive has been honestly kind of mind-blowing. It really makes you wonder, what other cool, innovative ways of learning are out there? What haven't we even thought of yet?
And that's what's so exciting, right? La Miranda Teatro, they've thrown down the gauntlet.
Yeah,
They're saying, hey, let's rethink what's possible.
I love it. So as we're wrapping things up here, it only seems fair to ask, if you could build your dream escape room, right? What kind of real-world challenge would you put at the center of it?
Oh, man, that is a question. I'm going to have to think about that one.
I know, right? It's a big one. But for now, if you're as fascinated by La Miranda Teatro as we are, definitely check them out online. Their work, it's about so much more than just escaping a room. It's about escaping the limits of how we think, you know? And that's something we can all get behind. Until next time, keep exploring those big questions and keep on learning.